Hello friends, and welcome to my floor. I can't be the only one that reads on the floor all the time. Where do you like to read? Today I'm going to be going through all the books that I own and I have not read yet. So I'm very excited to look at all my pretty books. I get most of my books from the library. I read most of my stuff there because I don't have that much space, and I'm kind of selective when it comes to buying books. I will go into a bookstore and I'll only buy something if I like the cover and it sounds interesting to me. Like, I don't buy only for the cover, but the cover needs to look pretty for me to own it, you know? Otherwise I could just get it from the library. Like, it's so easy. And I don't have the money or space to spend on getting like that many books, especially if they're ugly. Like, I don't want to own ugly books, you know? Maybe that's just me, but let's just get started. I'm so excited. Okay, this is gonna be in like no particular order. I just have them all stacked here. And this is not all of them. There are a few that are at my mom's house, but this is most of them, the ones that I have not read. So my physical TBR that I really want to get through this year, because what I do is I just get books from the library, I put them on hold, and then they just come in on hold, and then there's just a bunch of books in the library, and then I go to the library like multiple times a week, and then I go there and I can't not get a book because there's a bunch of new books. And I'm really glad the library near me is amazing. Like, they have every book, so I'm really lucky with that, but that means I put off my physical TBR. So I want to get through these this year because some of them I've owned for a bit, not like too long, but anyway, let's just get started. So, no particular order. This is To the One I Love the Best by Ludwig Bemelmans. He actually wrote the original Madeline books. I watched that movie when I was a kid once. It kind of scared me, but he wrote the original Madeline books. So he has these illustrations throughout the book. And this is basically, I think it's like a memoir or a nonfiction about this woman that he knew throughout his life, and just the story of that woman. And it seems really like just fun. I got this in Montreal, and I really liked the cover, so I got it because I mean it's so pretty. I love it. So that's for, I think they're at each part there's an illustration. So there's one. Yeah, and it's really cool. I'm really excited. It seems like very lighthearted and fun, which I need sometimes because I tend to read a lot of dark shit even when I don't mean to. So that's the first one. Okay, next, just on the top of the pile is this honker, this giant book. Yeah, I got this for my birthday, which was in June, so it's been like half a year at the very least, and I really want to read this year. It's just so intimidating. I just gotta read it when I'm like in the mood to really get lost in this story. And I mean, it's beautiful. I'm very excited, and it has a map, which is really cool. It's so cool. So, and then also I think, oh yeah, it has the RFK on the front. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but it's very cool. I love it. I love that I own this. It's just like one of my most beautiful books that I own. So yeah, that's that one. And then, okay, East of Eden. I really want to read this one because I read it when I was in high school, I think, and I remember it being really good, but I don't know. I feel like all the books you have to read for school when you're in high school just don't hit because you kind of just like don't want to read them. But I found this edition. I just had to get it because it's so pretty. Like, the orange, I don't know, it's just like this, all these editions of like the Penguin Classics have, I think they each have different designs on the front that like correlate to the story, and I'm so obsessed. So I cannot wait to read this. I know, I mean, I think I'm gonna love it, honestly, at this age. Like, I think it's gonna be, if I read it this year, it's probably gonna be one of my top books of the year, so I'm super excited. Okay, next. So these are My Heart is a Chainsaw and Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones. Actually, this is a trilogy, and the third one comes out, I think, next month. So I'm so excited because I think I'm going to make a reading vlog when the next one comes out. I've read this first one, but I want to reread it so I can reread like the whole series together. I haven't read this one yet, but this one I loved. He is a horror writer, an Indigenous horror writer. His writing is just so good. He uses personification really well, and I love it. It's like something you just sink your teeth into. So I'm so excited to read this whole trilogy together when it comes out. So excited. And also, these are like beautiful. Like, these are some of the most pretty books I own. Like, I don't know why I'm obsessed with these covers. The hardbacks too, like just the texture too is like, it's like almost like matte here, but then it's shiny here. And this just is so cool. I love it. Okay, next is My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I've heard great things about this. I know it's a series and it's written by an Italian author. Yeah, I think I got this one on sale, so that's why I picked it up, because it was new on sale. And I really like these covers. I don't know, I feel like some people don't like them, but I kind of like, I don't know, I think it's pretty. Like, I like how it's just like a painting. I don't know, I feel like I like it. So I don't really know too much about this one, but hopefully I'll read it this year. Okay, next is The Cruel Prince. Honestly, for my standards now, this is so stupid. Strictly based on the cover, at this point, I probably wouldn't have bought this. I bought this like at the very beginning, like end of 2022, which is when I started really wanting to like get back into reading and buy more books and stuff. And I got this at Barnes & Noble, which I would never actually buy anything at Barnes & Noble now because I just shop at independent bookstores. But I think I got it on sale at Barnes & Noble, and I had heard stuff about it, so I just got it. And I don't hate the cover. It's just like not, it doesn't like, you know, it doesn't make me feel something. So but yeah, I'm just excited to read this because I haven't actually read that much fantasy, but I want to get into it because I know I will love it. Like, I know if I actually read fantasy, even if it's YA or something that's not too deep, I know I'm gonna love it because I just love reading stories, and I know I love fantasy. Like, I love stuff that has a bit of magic in it, even more than just real life stories. So I think I'm gonna like it, but I'm not sure if I'll buy the other two once I read this or if I'll just get them from the library, but I guess it depends on if I like it or not. So that's that one. And then also from that trip to Barnes & Noble, I got The Idiot. And I never think about reading this one. I think it's just because it's in a weird spot in my room. I mean, it's a very popular book. I don't really know that much about what it's about. It sounds like one of those hot sad girl books, if you will, which I enjoy, but is not like my favorite. So I'll read it whenever. And yeah, but I like the cover. I think it's cool. So I don't know how I feel about this one, honestly. Okay, next one. Sometimes this one is super random, but sometimes I'll just go into a bookstore, like a used bookstore, and I go in, and the book that just calls out to me at that moment and that I see and I like the cover, I like the storyline or whatever, it might have like a bookmark left in it or something. It's like, it feels like it's meant to be, like, you know, a piece of fate brought you to this bookstore at this time to get this specific book. And that's what this one felt like. So it's called Alma Rose. I have never heard of this book, no idea what it was. And just something about this cover, like, I'm so weird with covers. I'll just see something and I'll either be like, I don't like that, or just I do for some reason. But something about it, I don't know, it's just like, I like it. It's like almost like vintagey, and I don't know, I just like something about it. And it's actually blurred by Ursula K. Le Guin, which is like a super famous science fiction author. But I think it's queer, I'm pretty sure, and it just sounds really interesting. So Pat lives in this town, this small town, and it says, but just when Pat's existence seems settled, Alma Rose, a charming and vivacious trucker with elaborately tooled cowboy boots and a mouth that gallops ahead of her mind, rumbles off the highway and into Pat's life, changing it forever. I mean, come on, like, that just sounds so cool, because it looks like just like kind of a, I don't know, kind of weird, like you might be like, what is that? But if it's queer, like, that's so cool. I'm so excited. So yeah, that was like just one of those things that I just found it and I was like, I need this, you know? Okay, next So a kind of recent obsession of mine, but okay, here's the thing. So I watched Our Flag Means Death, my favorite show ever. It's about pirates, about queer pirates, and I fell in love with it. I love it so much, like partly because of the pirate thing, but also the writing, just everything is amazing, but I also just love the pirateness of it. And actually when I was younger, when I was in like elementary school, we had like a unit about, like we had to read a book about ships and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it was pirate ships, I don't think it was, but it was like we had to just like read a few books that took place on ships, and then we actually got to go on like a docked ship for like a night, like a whole night. And we had like shifts, like overnight shifts, like we got to like be the, you know, the people that work on the ship. And this was in like 4th grade or something, so I don't know, I really enjoyed those books about ships when I was younger. And so now I'm just obsessed with pirates because of Our Flag Means Death, and it just, I love it. It's so good. So I found this. It's called Born to be Hanged, and I think it's nonfiction, but it says the epic story of the gentleman pirates who raided the South Seas, rescued a princess, and stole a fortune. And when I saw Gentleman Pirate, if you know, you know, Stede Bonnet, Gentleman Pirate. But I was like, I need this. It literally has a skull and crossbones winking, and I mean, I think it's like kind of like a novelized history, but I'm so excited for this. I don't know when I'll read this, but just I'm really excited. I love it. Okay, next, this is part of the haul that I got recently when I went to LA. I went to the Last Bookstore, which is a great bookstore. And I got this little edition. Okay, I love these editions, first of all. I don't know, Penguin Classics something, like the little seafoam green and gold. And this is the yellow wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, and I've heard really good things about this. But it also comes with another story by her called Herland, which I think is about like this, let me read it. In Herland, a trio of men set out to discover an all-female community rumored to be hidden deep in the jungle. What they find surprises them all. They're captured by women who, for 2,000 years, have lived in a peaceful and prosperous utopia without men. And I mean, that sounds amazing. And the gold foiling on the pages is so pretty. And this is just so beautiful and small, and I love it. I love it. Okay, next one. I got this in the same trip as the pirate book. This one is called If It Gets Quiet Later On, I Will Make a Display. This one is just a collection of essays, stories, and poems about working in a bookshop. So it's all by the same author, Nick Thran, and it just looks really interesting. It's pretty short. I like getting little, like, you know, poetry collections or little essay collections sometimes. That was a dumb sentence. I love stories centered in libraries or bookstores for obvious reasons. Like, being surrounded by books is just a feeling that you can't really explain. It just is so amazing. So I really wanted to get this, and I thought the cover was kind of cool. So yeah. Okay, next I got this in, I think, a thrift bookstore in Montreal. And this is Classic Tales of Horror by Edgar Allan Poe. Oh yeah, and I got this sticker. I think my brother gave it to me or something, and I didn't know where to put it, but I just put it in here because it like fit Raven's blood, because you know the Raven, the story. But yeah, I just wanted to get this because I remember reading Edgar Allan Poe like in school. I really enjoyed The Telltale Heart and The Raven, and I just want to read more of that because it's like so atmospheric, like creepy gothic. You're in a castle reading this, and maybe I'll save it till like the fall comes around again for the atmosphere. But yeah. Okay, next, this is kind of random. This is just a little, it's called A Fine Collection, Volume 1. It's just this, I think, poetry. Yeah, it's all poetry, I believe. Oh, look, there's a flower in there. Sometimes if I get like a flower, I'll just press it, I'll just put it in a book, and I'll just keep it in there, and I just forget that there's a flower in my book, which is kind of cool. Yeah, this is just a collection of, I think, essays and poems. It's an anthology, and so this is a Fine collection. Fine was I believe it was an in-person event, and then during the pandemic, they made it into a little copy of, like, a little book. So that's cool. And there's also little pictures in here, and they're so pretty. pretty. It's so cute. So yeah, this is just a little collection. I really loved the front. It's just cute little coffee table book. And sometimes I'll find ARCs randomly, advanced readers copies, either in little free libraries or thrift shops. And I just buy them because I'm like, it's cool to have an ARC of something, even though it's out. Like, it's cool to just have an ARC. Like, it makes me feel special, even though I literally got it for cheap or free. This one I found in a little free library, and it's an ARC. It says on sale October 2019. And looking back on this cover is actually so ugly. But I got it for free. So I was like, you know, and it's an ARC. I really don't know what this is about. It seems really weird, honestly. It just says, calling all skeptics, believers, and those on the fence. After you read Augustus Burroughs' new book, you might go from being a skeptic to a believer, or a believer to a skeptic, but I guarantee you will not be on the fence about how funny and weird and thought-provoking it is. The supernatural is real. You can bend and shape things to your will and your intentions, and a centuries-old tree might really be trying to kill you. So, I honestly have no idea what this is, and I don't know when I'm gonna read it. But it sounds weird, and I like weird, so yeah. Okay, next one. This is one of the first books I actually have purchased as an adult, I think. I got this when I was still living in Santa Cruz. It's just Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. I just thought the cover was cute. You know, I love a good cover. But yeah, this is like a pretty famous tale, I think, from the 1800s. I tried starting it once, but this was when, like, before I actually like read a lot. So I didn't get very far, but I think now I probably could finish it. I don't really have any expectations. It's just like a journey. I think this guy, like this guy's uncle he studies something related to the earth or math or something, and he's on the brink of a discovery, and then the nephew like helps the uncle. I don't know. They go on a journey. I don't really have any expectations for this one. Okay, next, I've heard really good things about this, actually. This is The White Tiger. I really liked this cover. For everyone, you can assume I liked the cover because that's why I bought it. It seems really interesting. It seems kind of humorous. It just says, meet Balaram Halwai, the White Tiger, servant, philosopher, entrepreneur, murderer. Don't really want to know more than that. Okay, next is this one called Here I Am by Pauline Holdstock. Let me just read the thing because a lot of these I haven't really picked up in a while, so I'm kind of just going based on what I remember, but let me just read it because I don't want to just be butchering it. Oh yeah, so it's really weird. It's from the perspective of a child, I think, and he gets lost at a train station or something like that, but here's like the quote that's in the inside jacket. It says, and when it says my mum, it's like capital M-Y, capital M-U-M, but that's all one word. So kind of weird. So it says, my mom says sometimes refugees don't eat anything for days and days, sometimes weeks and months, so I am really lucky. I think she exaggerates, but I think she is right about the lucky bit, or maybe not. Sometimes I forget that my mom is dead, but that is probably better than remembering. So yeah, that gave me nothing. Yeah, it seems interesting. It says utterly absorbing on the front, so I don't know what else to say. Okay, this one, I am obsessed with this cover. Like, that is so good. I love it. I love cool covers like that, and it you can kind of feel the words on here. So this one is called The Story of My Teeth, and it has these like little, I don't know if they're illustrations or art or just like patterns in the middle, but and then it has these. Isn't that cool? I love that. That is so cool. But this one, what is this even about? I don't remember. It seems kind of like one of those weird, interesting, quirky books, but like, you know, in a lit fic sense, that you're reading and you're probably like, what is going on? But you're having fun. Or no, but I think it's depressing. I don't know. It says Gustavo Highway Sanchez is a late-in-life world traveler, yarn spinner, collector, and legendary auctioneer. His most precious possessions are the teeth of the notorious infamous, like Plato, Petrarch, Chesterton and Virginia Woolf. Written in collaboration with the workers at a juice factory, The Story of My Teeth is an elegant, witty, exhilarating romp through the industrial suburbs of Mexico City and Luceli's own literary influences and a meditation on, as Highway says, the variable value of art. So it was written in collaboration with the workers at a juice factory. That's cool. So yeah, I don't know what to expect. I think it's gonna be weird and cool. Like, that is so interesting. What? Like, yeah, it's so interesting. I just love owning stuff like this, you know? It's so interesting to have. Next one, I really don't know when I'm gonna read this because this sounds depressing. This is the cover. And let me just read you the back. It sounds depressing. Okay, in a world of perennial fire and growing extinctions, Anna's aged mother is dying, if her 3 children would just allow it. Condemned by their pity to living, she increasingly escapes through her hospital window into visions of horror and delight. When Anna's finger vanishes and a few months later her knee disappears, Anna too feels the pull of the window. She begins to see that all around her others are similarly vanishing, but no one else notices. All Anna can do is keep her mother alive. But the window keeps opening wider, taking Anna and the reader ever deeper into a strangely beautiful novel about hope and love and orange-bellied parrots. An ember storm of a novel, this is Richard Flanagan at his most moving and astonishing best. Okay, like, that sounds amazing, though. I love books that have weird concepts. Like, I'm obsessed with that. It keeps me entertained. To me, it's not about taking you out of reality. It's about, like, peeling back layers of reality and layers of thought. And I don't only want to read books about, like, you know, just people living their normal daily life. Like, I enjoy that, and I love when writing goes, like, deeply into just, like, small human acts. But I also love, I love reading about fantastical, like, magical realism, I would say, or just interesting concept, like, dreamlike things. So I think it's gonna be good. It's just probably gonna be really sad. So yeah, that's The Living Sea of Waking Dreams. This one I'm pretty excited for. I love this cover. It's so cool. This is called Black Star by Maureen Medved. I feel like if I read you the back, it would be kind of like, okay, cool, it's just about something. But let me just read you, like, the first sentence, because I feel like sometimes when you open a book, you just need to read the first sentence to see, like, what the writing is going to be like. So here, let me read. Okay, the first paragraph. Everything was perfect until Helene Lebec infected our university, a lesion of carcinogenic proportions capable of rotting and destroying departments and even entire institutions of higher learning. So, yeah, I think it's about academia. It's about sexual exploitation, manipulation, and the subtle machinations of power. Yeah. I love making this video because it's just making me excited all over again for all these books, which I think is the point. So this is The Overstory by Richard Powers, and oh my god, this cover is so beautiful to me. Like, I feel like this represents, because I mean, I love how it's I believe it's a painting of the forest. I love the forest. It's like, I don't know, I love it so much. And I love how it's kind of like circles, because it's kind of like this, I think it's representing kind of time, like it's the circles of time a bit. I don't know, but it's really cool. It's like almost like you look at it and you kind of like are falling into it. Okay, let me just like read you the first sentence of this one, because it's so beautiful. I love it. I can't wait to read this one. I think it's a bit long, so it's kind of going to be like a long saga, which I love, but I just need to be in the right headspace. First, there was nothing, then there was everything. Come on, that's all you need to know. Okay, next is The Traveling Cat Chronicles. I don't actually remember where I got this. Oh, I think I got it at Value Village, which actually is not the best deals you can get on books, because this is kind of roughed up. It should have been like $2, but it was like $6, so maybe not the best place to get books, but this is just cute. I think it's a Japanese book, and it's translated Japanese book, and it's just about a traveling cat, I believe. And there's cute little illustrations in here. Like, aw, that's so cute. So yeah, this is just gonna be like a a cozy book to read when I am feeling overwhelmed and I need it. Okay, 2 piles done, 2 piles to go. But these ones are less tall. Okay, so this one is a pretty recent purchase. This is called Finding the Mother Tree. Lately I've realized that trees are really fucking cool. Like, I'm really interested in learning more about trees in general. But from like an interesting, like, I need there to be some aspect of storytelling, not just like, a scientific book, because that's not interesting to me. Like, trees actually can communicate with each other in interesting ways, which I didn't know until I read A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson this past year. And he only talked about it a little bit, but like, trees through their roots can communicate with each other, and I didn't know that, and that's so cool. I mean, I don't know, just trees are so vast, and I would love to learn more about that. So this is called Finding the Mother Tree, Discovering the Wisdom of the Forest, and this is actually by an author from British Columbia, which I am in right now. And there's like photos in here too. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this one because I just want to learn more about trees. Okay, this one is recently, my friend actually just gave this to me because she was done reading it. This is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, which I've heard nothing but good things about. I've heard it's beautiful, amazing. The writing is amazing. I've heard nothing but good things about this author, so I think I'm gonna read this hopefully fairly soon. I've heard it's sad, but like really, just like really moving and really good, which I love books like that. I think it's just about this, I don't know if he's a man or a boy during the story, but he's writing to his mother. So it's kind of like this whole book is almost like a letter to his mother, and that sounds really beautiful. So yeah. Okay, next is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I am obsessed with these covers. I read Sula by Toni Morrison last year. It's one of the first books I read in 2023 actually, and I want to collect all these editions. But her writing is so incredible. Oh my god, I can't wait to read this. I know I'm gonna love it. Her writing just like packs a punch. She is incredible. She's known for a reason. I know it's gonna be a hard read, but her writing just makes the reading experience so beautiful and so amazing, and you want to just grasp onto every single word. Like, when you're reading it, none of the words you can take for granted. Every word is purposeful. It's incredible. It's an incredible experience. So I'm super looking forward to reading this one. Okay, this is another one I got at the last bookstore recently. This one is called Wish Her Safe at Home. And I think this is a classic or a modern classic by Stephen Benatar. It just sounded really interesting and like just a good story to me. So I'll just read the back. Rachel Waring is deliriously happy. Out of nowhere, a great aunt leaves her a Georgian mansion in another city, and she sheds her old life without delay. Gone is her dull administrative job, her mousy wardrobe, her downriver roommate. She will live as a woman of leisure, devoted to beauty, creativity, expression, and love. Once installed in her new quarters, Rachel plants a garden, takes up writing, and impresses everyone she meets with her extraordinary optimism. But as Rachel sings and jokes the days away, her new neighbors begin to wonder if she might be taking her transformation just a bit too far. That sounds so cool. Like, I feel like this is going to be very introspective, which I love. I love books that are kind of either a portrait of a person or a family. Like, there's not too many characters to remember. It's very, it's like kind of inside the mind rather than a bunch is happening outside. It's kind of like between, just, it looks very closely at human thoughts and interactions and family and the self, rather than like a bunch of things happening at once. So I'm really excited. Can you tell I'm excited? Next is Emma by Jane Austen. Okay, first of all, this is beautiful. You can literally feel the cover. It's so cool, and the pages are gold. But the weird thing is that the pages, I've never seen a book like this. It's almost like laminated. Like, they're not like normal paper. They're almost laminated. So like, if you were to write in here, it would smudge everywhere. So that's the kind of thing, that's the only thing that I'm like, so weird. But I mean, I don't think it's gonna ruin the experience for me. But I've heard really good things about this book specifically, and I've never read Jane Austen before. This is just a beautiful book, like, yeah, and I really do want to read more classics this year. I really enjoy classics. I feel like they just have a depth to them that sometimes other books don't have, and it's just really easy to fall into, and they're classics for a reason, you know? Okay, this one is Devotions by Mary Oliver, and look, it's a little duck. I didn't notice it was a duck at first. I don't know what I thought it was. I don't know even, yeah, I have no idea what I thought it was at first, but it's a little duckling. And this is just a collection of a bunch of Mary Oliver's poetry. I've heard such good things about her poetry. I've heard, like, from even people that don't read a lot of poetry, they are obsessed with it. It's very nature focused, simple, beautiful, like warm, focusing on nature and animals and just appreciating the moment. Yeah, very beautiful. Okay, this next one is just silly. It's so silly. This is called Holy Cow. And look at that. It's great. I love a weird book. I just love a kooky book. It's so fun. You know, it's the little things, for real. Let me just read you what this is about. Elsie Bovary is a cow, and a pretty happy one at that. Her long, lazy days are spent eating, napping, and chatting with her best friend Mallory. One night, Elsie and Mallory sneak out of their pasture, but while Mallory is interested in flirting with the neighboring bulls, Elsie finds herself drawn to the farmhouse. Through the window, she sees the farmer's family gathered around a bright box god, and what the box god reveals about something called an industrial meat farm shakes Elsie's understanding of her world to its core. She is joined by Jerry, a cranky Torah-reading pig who's recently converted to Judaism, and Tom, a suave, in his own mind at least, turkey who can't fly but who can work an iPhone with his beak. So, I love books about animals. I love books in the perspective of animals. I think that's so fun. We need more of that. We need more books in the perspective of animals because, yeah, I don't know. It just sounded so funny. Okay, this one is The Black Cathedral by Marshall Gala. Look at that cover. It is so cool. And also look at this. It's so cool. That artwork is just beautiful. I love it. This one, I don't remember what it's about, but I kind of want to just go into the blind, honestly. I think it's just literary fiction. It's translated from Spanish. I just kind of want to go into blind and just follow the story. So this next one is called The Browser's Ecstasy. Scandalous. This is scandalous. This is another situation where I just walked into the bookstore, and it was one of those bookstores that it's here in Vancouver, but it's one of those bookstores that is like packed to the brim with books. It just feels like someone's attic or something, and it's so disorganized, but you just kind of go in there and then see what calls out to you. You pick that up and then you leave with it, and that's it, you know? So this is what I found there. The Browser's Ecstasy, a meditation on reading, and I think it's nonfiction. It's just about reading, I believe. And the browser's ecstasy, like, that is just, those words are just so poignant, I feel like, for how it feels to read, and I just like love that cover, and I was just really intrigued. It's intrigue. Next, I got this at a little library actually as well, and this is Gideon the Ninth. I probably would have bought this anyway, or at least got it from the library, because I really am so excited to read this. It's, okay, the blurb says, lesbian necromancers explore a haunted Gothic palace in space. That's crazy. Like, I need to read that, you know? I've heard really good things about this. I've heard that you kind of just don't know what's going on, but I don't really mind that. As long as I'm having fun, it's cool, so yeah. Okay, this next one is one of my most prized possessions. So this is called The Golden Gate, and I was actually born in San Francisco. It's like my favorite place. It just has like, it's so special to me in my heart, right? So I got this, and okay, first of all, there are these postcards that came with it, and they literally like, so they were just in here when I picked it up at the store. They correspond to the book. So this is all together, and they have quotes from the book on them, and they're from Vintage Books, like the publisher. And on the back it says The Golden Gate by Vikram Seth, and they're postcards, and I was like, what? That is just so cool, because like San Francisco is just so special to me. Like anything that is just reminds me of it special, and just the way that I found this and it came with these inside, like these postcards, is so cool. And then also it had a little note from someone when they gifted this in 1988, and it has like a little note from 1988, and that is just so special to me, like knowing like this book has had a life, you know? That's so cool, and it's so special. So this is a story about a man named John in San Francisco, and it's written in poetry, but it's like a novel, so that's all I know about it. But that was just such a special experience. Like just when I think about that, it just feels like you know, like life is so cool. You know. Next is this very shiny one. This is called Oh God, the Sun Goes, and I love this title because it's like it could go two ways. It's either like, oh God, the sun goes, right? Or like, oh God, the sun goes, like the sun is saying oh God, you know what I mean? I love like that even the title just inspires a conversation. That's so cool. The sun has disappeared from the sky. No one can explain where it has gone, but one wayward traveler is determined to try. As our unnamed narrator, I love an unnamed narrator, begins his odyssey across the parched landscapes of the American Southwest, he is drawn into a web of illusion and mystery, a shifting astral mindscape that shimmers with the aftermath of loss and the promise of redemption. That sounds amazing! Okay, this next one is called Salt Lick, which is such a fun name, and I really do like that cover. I wish it didn't have the permanent sticker, but I don't mind it. I think this one is going to be like a landscape of kind of... I'll just read I feel like I'm so bad explaining this. I just need to like read the back and then I'll talk about it because it's like I don't know where to start. So it says, Britain is awash. The sea creeps into the land. Brambles and forests swamp derelict towns. Food production has moved overseas and people are forced to move to the cities for work. The countryside is empty. A chorus, the herd voice of feral cows, wander this newly wild land, watching over changing times, speaking with love and exasperation. And then it goes through a few characters from that. So that just sounds like The Wall to me, which is one of my favorite books ever. And I love books that take place in kind of this vast landscape where there's only a few people and there's animals. I love how these books just always talk about animals in such a beautiful way. And I'm really excited to read this. I feel like it's gonna really like move me in some way, like emotionally. So yeah. We're on to our last pile. I hope you're still with me. Okay, so Braiding Sweetgrass by Ramanwal Kimmerer. This one, I feel like everyone has heard of this. It has just nothing but amazing reviews. It's indigenous wisdom, scientific knowledge, and the teachings of plants, which sounds beautiful. I've heard the writing is absolutely stunning. It just sounds like it's gonna change my life. And then another arc that I found in Montreal. This one, it says on sale 4/5/2022. So this is Out There by Kate Folk. This is short stories, I believe, and they're all kind of out there, otherworldly. And I feel like as far as short stories go, that's the way to go, because for me, if I'm reading a short story, I need there to be a concept that's really gonna like make me remember it. Otherwise, how am I supposed to care about the characters, you know? I'm looking forward to reading this because I feel like it's gonna be really weird concepts, and I think it'll be a fun read. Okay, this one I picked up at a bookstore in LA. I don't remember what it was called, but I love this cover. It's giving me like IKEA, I think, but it's called The Great Indoors, The Surprising Science of How Buildings Shape Our Behavior, Health, and Happiness, and this is a nonfiction. I just thought this topic sounded super interesting. I feel like I spend a lot of time inside because I don't have a job or much to do and I read a lot, so I would just love to learn about that. And I feel like I really value the home, and like when I see myself in the future, I see myself having like a home that just feels very comforting and like home to me. But yeah, anyway, I'm just really looking forward to learning about stuff. I feel like I'll just learn cool stuff about the indoors. Next is Crooked Plow. This cover is so cool, I think. Like, yeah, I got that at the same time as The Great Indoors, translated from Portuguese. And this one says, Deep in the neglected hinterland of Bahia, Brazil, two sisters find a mysterious knife beneath their grandmother's bed. Momentarily mystified by its power, they decide to taste its metal. The shuddering violence that follows marks their lives and binds them together forever. Okay, I actually forgot what that was about. That is so cool. What? They taste the metal? I need to read this soon, but this is beautiful. Like, I feel like it's gonna be really beautiful to read. And I'm really excited for that. I'm excited. Too many times I'm saying that. Next is Frankenstein. At the time, okay, this one I got with the Edgar Allan Poe stories, so they're like the same, what's it called, edition. And at the time I was like, cool, but now that I look back, this is definitely not the coolest Frankenstein edition I could have. Not that that matters, but I don't know. I feel like I could definitely have something cooler. But anyway, everyone knows what Frankenstein's about. I had to read it in high school, and I feel like I didn't really like it, but I wasn't really into reading then, and I feel like I was too young to really understand the tones of it, and now that I've heard people talking about it as an adult, I'm like, okay, I need to read this because it has themes of like existentialism and the self and monsters, and everyone knows about this story, but I'm really looking forward to reading it again and seeing what I think now. This one is The Weeds. I got this at another different store in Montreal. Like, literary fiction about animals or plants that kind of go in depth just really interest me, because I feel like for plants specifically, for things that literally give us life, we don't know or talk about them very much at all. So I would love to learn about plants while also just reading a story of human emotion, because I feel like that really connects us to the topic. And it actually has diagrams in here. Like every part or chapter starts with a diagram, and it's like figures, like in a science textbook, but and I think it includes the scientific names for the plants. So I'm not really sure what the story's about, but I thought this was a really beautiful cover. Yeah, that's what intrigued me to this one. Okay, we're almost there. This one is There. We're almost there. I'm just goofy today. I'm goofy. Anyway, this one is by Tommy Orange, and I'm sure you've heard of this if you watch a lot of booktube or read a lot, but this is an Indigenous author, and I think actually when I went to school I went to UC Santa Cruz, and I think there was a class there that was actually like surrounded by this book. Like, you had to read this book, and then the whole class was kind of around the concepts in this book, which is so cool. I didn't take it, but that's so cool. It's set in Oakland, and each chapter follows a different person, I think, but they're all interconnected and they're all going to the same powwow. But I think it's kind of just going into like each of these people's lives and just seeing like the diversity of their lives and kind of going in depth. And I've heard it's just emotional and just really, really good. So I really want to read this soon. Next is James Baldwin, Going to Meet the Man. I've never read James Baldwin before, but I, of course, really want to. I know he's an incredible writer. And these are short stories, so I don't know what they're about, but I'm sure I will like them because I heard that he's an incredible writer, and self-explanatory. Okay, this one, I kind of just forget about this a lot because it's thin and it's kind of in the back of my shelf. But I got this also at the Lax bookstore when I went there like a year ago, not recently. It's just a poetry collection. It's by the Poet Laureate of the United States. So that means something. Yeah, this is poems. So, okay, another short story collection. This one is weird. So this cover is super weird. And I feel like I just saw it and I was like, that's weird, let me get it. And it was also like, in bookstores, outside they have the shelves of like the $2 books. I think it was out there. So I was like, let me just get it. So I think these are just gonna be weird stories again. In the mesmerizing and uncanny world of Lee Henderson's The Broken Record Technique, desire, need, and fear are nearly interchangeable states in an endless human loop. It's a world spinning dizzily on the axis of deep human thirst for contact, for emotional reciprocity amid fracture and disconnect. That is so cool. I love that. Like, I love books that go deep into these human emotions and kind of blur them and all the things. So yeah, this cover is just super weird, actually. I don't know what these little... There's like these little guys. One of them has a beak, one of them has a pumpkin head, and that lady is chasing them with a chair. I really don't know. Okay, last 3 books. Okay. So this one is Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe. I feel like it's just a kind of a charming look, you know. It's just a vintagey kind of book. But this one has a movie, the movie Fried Green Tomatoes. I've never seen it, but I've heard it's like queer and like kind of iconic and just sweet. So I thought I would want to read the book, and it just sounds like kind of a small town. You fall in love with the characters in the town, and just like a lighthearted read. So this one is The God of Small Things. I feel like I saw it and I was like, I think the writing is pretty beautiful. There's no description. So I don't know what it's about. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what it's about. Last book, we made it. Okay. This is The Cure for Death by Lightning. Now that I look at it, this cover is not that nice. I don't know. You can barely read that, I feel like. Like, what does that even say, you know? I don't know why I got this, honestly. I think I got it at Value Village, so it was cheap. And it is actually kind of destroyed. But I'm gonna read it because, like, I'm not just gonna let it go to waste, you know? It's a story that could be read, so I'm gonna read it. And I think it's Canadian, so that's cool. No idea what it's about. It's a story. That was all the books. My throat is so dry. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed in some way. And let me know if you've read any of these, or if you want to read any of these, or just let me know like your favorite book cover, because I love looking at pretty book covers. So I'll see you in the next one very soon. I hope you're having a great day. Bye!